What's up out there, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. Hope all is well with you guys out there on this beautiful Monday night. All is well here. It's too bad we can't say that about the rest of the state of Indiana. That was a clip right there that we just watched, of central Indiana, being hammered, by flooding all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Just here last week, say 5 to 6 days ago, and there's still a lot of people that's without power, and they're not happy about it. They seem to think that NIPSCO is dragging their feet about restoring power, and I know what that's like here. There's been a few times that our power went out, and it's almost like you throw back into the Stone Age. You see what I mean? It's just not cool. It's not a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? But these people right here has been without power for at least a week now. And it is said they probably won't get their power back on until either this Friday or next Friday. Okay? Historic flooding across Indiana. And this aftermath, right here to the right, they even have limbs hanging off of power wires, power lines on fire and sparking. That is dangerous. You see what I'm saying? Just dangerous. There's a sister that's basically telling a whole entire story about what's going on in Gary, Indiana. People pulling guns, on NIPSCO and everything, not going to jail. I mean, just total chaos. You see what I'm saying? Before we watch that video, though, I have a couple clips where the people, across Indiana are actually saying NIPSCO is just not working fast enough. So without further ado, let's check it out.
This has been a frustrating process here, and it's really going to depend on where you live. But we do know that NIPSCO said that they expect to have 90% of their customers with their power back on by late tomorrow night. So that's 11:59 p.m. But they've also left open the possibility that 100% of their customers may not have their power back on until late Friday night. So this has been a long, slow process here, but they are making some progress on restoring the power. In fact, at one point, they had more than 300,000 customers that didn't have power after Tuesday's severe weather. And NIPSCO called it one of the largest outages in company's history. So NIPSCO has restored power to about 236,000 customers, but then you still have tens of thousands of people right here in Gary, Indiana, who still don't have power. And that includes Cynthia White and Reginald Branch. They still don't have power. And Cynthia feels like the whole situation is just really out of her control. But she admits that it's been an adjustment not having power for nearly 1 week. And she told me this is the worst storm that she's ever experienced. And that was the same thing for Reginald there, who told me how frustrating it's been trying to get someone over to his house, because if you look at his backyard, there are still power lines down in his backyard. In fact, he told me they landed in his pool, and there's still trees blocking the alleyway. And the power outage also closed his work temporarily, and he told me that he wasn't getting paid during that time.
We just have to be patient and give the workers space to do what they are deemed to do. We're not electricians. No, yes, we're very upset that we don't have the power, and tomorrow will make a week, but we have to be patient.
My food is gone. I don't have any food. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get the food. I get paid Friday, and I only have 5 days on my check. So it's rent. It's the first of the month, so it's terrible.
And certainly people are losing out on money, and they certainly spent a lot of money on food, and they've lost all their food, and they're having to eat out now. But within the last 2.5 hours, ComEd also said that they're going to be sending their contractors into Northwest Indiana to help NIPSCO end up restoring the power. There's still about 100,000 people in this area who still don't have power. Live in Gary tonight, Brett Pagansky, Watch Chicago.
And Brett, as you were out and about today and talking to all of these people, what did cleanup look like in the area? Is there still things down, debris in the road, or what is it looking like out there now 6 days later?
Yeah, there's certainly lots of down trees. You even have some wires down in certain areas, and that's why if you ask people, like some of the ones we spoke with today, they feel like they're forgotten about, and they really want the NIPSCO crews to remember them, get to the area, because they're going on now 1 week without power, and there's still some power generators running in certain areas, but some people don't have access to those kind of things.
Right, Brett, thank you so much.
it's been just an exhausting week for everyone across Northwest Indiana, but here in Dyer, people say they are fed up. They feel like they're not getting as much attention from NIPSCO and these efforts to restore power across the area. Today, the council president of Dyer telling us that still more than half of his homeowners don't have power tonight. Power lines and debris still scattered across the village of Dyer tonight, one of many towns still dealing with the aftermath of Tuesday's storm.
We got lines on our house. We got lines on my grandfather's house, who's behind me. And we got lines in my backyard. Our dogs are there. They're not live, but it's not fun. I just want power eventually.
Frustration now boiling over for residents and elected officials as they say they're not getting much communication from NIPSCO.
We're not getting any communication from you guys. And that's really the crux of this entire thing, is that we have not only critical infrastructure in the town that is running on backup generators. Over half the town is still 4, 5, 6 days after this historic storm still without power.
Dyer Council President Robert Starkey sent a letter to NIPSCO today addressing these concerns, as he says all the other forms of communication he has tried has not led to much of a response.
The customer outage count was down into like 33, 34, 3,500, and now we're back up to 4,400, which means something popped off somewhere and we don't know what.
People in Munster also feeling that frustration. And as 5th Ward Councilman Jonathan Peterson says 2/3 of their town still has no power. Peterson came into Dyer today in hopes of collaborating to get answers from NIPSCO.
And we're just not getting information. Look, we understand that this is a work in progress, but you gotta communicate with the residents so that there's some sense that progress is being made. We're not getting that right now.
NIPSCO says it has had its crews working around the clock while also getting help from qualified contractors and the Indiana National Guard. Now, the company responding to these concerns with a statement late tonight, saying in part, restoration is dictated by the severity and extent of the damage. In some areas, repairs to major transmission and distribution infrastructure must be completed before work can begin on smaller sections of the system serving individual neighborhoods. Every community matters to us, and restoration priorities are based on system needs, safety considerations, and the work required to restore service to the greatest number of customers as efficiently as possible. Now, we have heard in recent days that the hope is to have a good amount of power restored for all of Northwest Indiana by Tuesday, and hopefully 100% of power by Friday. But in the meantime, everyone, the residents and the elected officials, asking for answers from NIPSCO. From Dyer, Mayor Kawash, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
A Crown Point, Indiana homeowner is demanding answers from NIPSCO tonight, claiming a power line was left hanging in standing water for days since last week's severe storms. Dino Jakovic says the hazard on Wells Street was first reported to NIPSCO on Tuesday. He says he also called Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but that no one showed up to fix the problem. Then, overnight, power was restored to the neighborhood, and the same line started sparking and caught fire in a driveway. Jahovic says there was also a fire in a neighbor's yard.
So I get up to go see NIPSCO working on the power lines in front of the house, but I hear these booms, like boom, 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 boom. Once I go outside, there is no NIPSCO. All there is electricity sparks popping and a bunch of fire coming out.
Well, no one was hurt in that incident, but Jahovic wants an investigation into why he says his repeated calls for help were not addressed before power was restored. NIPSCO says that they were notified of the fire and sent workers to the site to help first responders. And here's a look at the current outages. There are still more than 100,000 customers without power in Northwest Indiana. You can track real-time power outages anytime with the free ABC 7 Power Outage Tracker on our news app and website.
That's scary to have those power lines hanging down like that, burning, bushes and all that kind of stuff. If you're not watching what you're doing, you can walk into one of those things and the rest is history. You see what I'm saying? NIPSCO needs to take care of that. This picture on the right that I came across, and Joan actually found, where there was this tree branch hanging on, burning on power lines. You see what I'm saying? That's another situation, and all those down lines all over the place. I would say that people should make sure they keep their children, out of the streets. You know, keep them in the house or wherever you are. Make sure, you know, they stay sheltered, because kids have a knack for wondering at this situation like this, and they can get electrocuted. And then you got this other thing going on the other side of this whole entire situation, where people are acting very unruly. And we have a sister right here telling us all about it. Check this out. This is about Gary, Indiana.
Good morning, America. So we are now on day 6, no power in Gary, Indiana. Yes, my grandmother still has a tree on her roof because our insurance said they are not going to cover a natural disaster. Yes, it is steadily raining every day, and rain is pouring into my grandmother's house. Yes. Now, let's address some of the rumors going around Gary. It is in fact true that in Highland, Indiana, a Caucasian woman approached road workers trying to assist, and with her weapon, and brandized her weapon, and told him to get out of there.
Brandishing.
And nothing was done. Nobody cared. And then mysteriously, a NIPSCO truck, an empty truck, was shot at. And the violence has begun. They have unfortunately began breaking in homes and cars. So please, lock all your stuff up. And then they keep on trying to put it up on one group. You know, all colors live up there. But let's not make this a black and white thing, yellow, purple thing. Let's just all stand together. Those of you in Portage and Valpo and Dyer and Hammond and East Chicago, all of you groups that have come together and helped your community, can you all please now group together and come to our communities and help us? Just like y'all just grouped together and got all y'all done, y'all can just group together and come help us out a little bit. Because we're the community, right?
I can tell you this. Acting a fool in times like this is not going to make things any better. It's not going to make NIPSCO work any better. Now, who's pulling guns on NIPSCO, number one, and shooting at their vehicle? What kind of mess is that? What is the fighting all about? You know, I understand people are frustrated, but it's really not going to make them move any faster. It's really not. All it's going to do is make them drag their feet any longer, and it's probably going to wind up being criminal charges pressed simply because of this kind of action. You know, it makes no sense. You know, we was blessed here where we live at. We didn't see any of that, not even a power outage. You know, everything just, we only got like an inch of water, inch of rain that is. But it did go over into Ohio, and it did a lot of damage there as well. So, hey, you know, I'm grateful to the Most High that we didn't see any of that, and pray that we don't, you know, because I really want to have to deal with it. I really don't. I mean, really, the power outages is bad enough, you know. The last time our power went out, we were out like probably for maybe 9 hours without power. Not cool at all. You see what I mean? Very frustrating. And then, like the one brother said, you know, he lost food, you know, because your power go out. You don't have any means of keeping it cold or frozen. And all that's going to happen is going to, you know, thaw out and then go bad. So that's not cool either. And nobody's going to replace that. There won't be any vouchers, I don't guess. You see what I'm saying? But I can tell you this. They need to just chill and let NIPSCO go ahead and do their job. Because here in America, it is the American way, you know, to drag your feet and to be understaffed and underpaid. And that's probably what this is all about. You know, don't act like you don't know. That's what it is. Shame to say. But that's all I got on this one, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think of this situation right here. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.